Hi there, if you're looking to level up your watercolor skills but also need something soothing and relaxing to watch today, I created a perfect watercolor video just for you. So sit back, relax, watch me paint this gorgeous red dahlia flower and learn a few essential watercolor techniques, including wet on wet color mixing on our first background layer, glazing colors to create beautiful variations in our second layer, and wet on dry accents to bring definition and realistic effect to our flower on the third layer. At any point during the video, you can check out the links to art supplies and pigments that I use in the description below. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell at the bottom right so you know when I post my next video. Now let's take it to the table. And I'm opening a new Winsor Newton red deep pigment that I brought from Spain. It's going to be the main base color for our flower. Now let's put down some masking fluid to protect the center of the flower and also a few highlights. And let's do the first layer. Let's start with our top flower. I'm going to cover the entire surface with clear water first and then start dropping my base color, which is Winsor Red Deep. You can see how beautifully it spreads. I'm adding a little bit of Opera Pink from Daniel Smith just on those side petals because that's where a sun is able to shine through the petal, and the petal is really light, so I want to reflect that with a little bit of a lighter color, and then adding more and more Winsor Red throughout. Now I'm going to start adding some cooler colors like Quinacridone Violet and maybe even a little bit of Dioxazine Purple at the bottom, and also in the spaces where I feel like there are lots of shadows. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you know my method, and you know that the background layer is where we set out the overall color scheme for our subject, so there will be no details here. We'll just roughly identify the background color, the areas of light, and the areas of shadow. Now let's do the same thing on the second flower, the one that's facing us. The first layer is going to be all about the background color and setting the stage for subsequent layers. The direction of light here will be a little bit different. So you will see that I'm starting from the edges of the flower with my Winsor Red Deep, and I'm making sure that it's a bit more contrasted on the edge. I'm going to cover the rest of the area and then drop some Quinacridone Violet in the middle. Finish off the flower, drop a few bits of Opera Pink right there on top, more Quinacridone Violet, and maybe even a bit of Quinacridone Coral just to warm it up a little bit on those petals that are facing us. A bit more pink, just going around. I think it's all covered now. And maybe even some ultramarine blue just to make sure that I really prepare myself for the second layer where I'm going to do the shadows. The cooler colors like purple and blue will set those areas back visually, so we know that that's where the shadows are going to be. It's really going to help us in the second layer. Let's finish off the first layer by doing the green parts. So I'm going to start with this little flower bud, and I'm using my Sap Green and my Hooker's Green as a base. Just a drop of Spring Green from Daniel Smith on the area of the flower bud that's really in the sun and it's kind of warmer and more lit up, and a bit of Quinacridone Violet just there on the tip to identify where the petals are going to be. We'll do the same colors on the green part of this top flower, and I'm not afraid to blend it with my reds because there's going to be lots of more layers. After that, I'm even adding a little bit of my base Winsor Red Deep there so that our palette is cohesive. And now let's do the second layer where we're really going to start defining the shapes of the petals and start adding more details to our flowers. So in this stage, it's important to look closer at the reference photo and really study where the shadows and where the highlights are. I'm going to start off there at the bottom. Those petals are away from the sun, not much warmth there, so I'm going with a little bit of magenta and blending it with my base red, mostly focusing on the back of each petal. So I want to make sure that I get the back of the petals and make them darker in this layer. And that's how I start building definition, just by deepening those shadows. On the side of the petals that are facing the sun, I'm going to use my lighter and also much warmer reds and pinks. So you'll see me dropping a lot of Quinacridone Coral, maybe even Pearl Orange, and even Opera Pink, even though it's quite a cold color, but it is quite light, and it will help make those sides of the petals that are facing the sun pop a little bit more. The backs of the petals I'm going to do with another layer of Winsor Red Deep. I'm gonna add some magentas, some Quinacridone violets, and maybe even some purples. We'll see how it goes. In some cases, I'm going to do a double layer or maybe even a triple layer. The darker my reference photo area is, the more layers I will put in this stage. So you can sort of see the shapes of the petals emerge in this stage, and this is the secret to building volume in botanicals, because in the first layer there were no details, and now we're really focusing on those shapes, really accentuating the details, the shadows, and making our highlights pop. I'm gonna do this a few times, and the more colors I put down, the darker and cooler they are. So you can see now I'm switching to more Quinacridone Violet and even a little bit of Dioxazine Purple. Starting to add a little bit more detail and being really mindful of the direction of light. Like I wouldn't put my purple on any of the top petals. I'm gonna add a little bit of those reds and purples on the stem just to make sure that my palette is cohesive. And I think at this stage, I'm quite happy with the result, and I'm gonna let it dry. Move on to the flower bud and add a second layer. Again, I'm using the same colors, Hooker's Green, Sap Green, building that volume, looking at the reference photo and just looking for those shadows. And I'm focusing on adding more pigment on the shadow areas and adding a little bit more detail on the flower bud. Don't be afraid to mix greens with reds. If you do this strategically, all it does, it makes your palette cohesive and it makes for a really nice transition. Now let's do the second layer on this Dahlia at the bottom. And this is going to be quite tricky because there's not a lot of variation from top to bottom because the flower is facing us. It's really not facing the sun. So we really want to make sure that we're making the right choices here in terms of what colors we put in to define the petals. I'm gonna take a closer look at my reference photo and really notice where the darkest petals are. So probably more so at the bottom, maybe on the sides. For the shadows, I'm going to use a lot of Perylene Violet, but also a lot of the colors that we used on top there, like Quinacridone Violet and Dioxazine Purple. For the highlights, I'm going to go with those same warm, lighter colors that I used on top, like Quinacridone Coral and also Pearl Orange. And of course, Opera Pink, the cooler pink, but the one that's so vibrant that it's going to stand out and make those petals where we use it appear closer to the viewer. I'm using a lot more Perylene Violet on this flower. I feel like it's not really facing the sun, so it will need a bit more darkness. And again, Perylene Violet is one of those awesome colors that are definitely helpful when it comes to natural subjects, when you want to paint something dark but also want to maintain the realistic effect. It's not quite black, but sort of resembles like a violet and brown. So perfect for shadows. Okay, we're so close to finishing this off. I'm going to remove the masking fluid, reveal the highlights on the edges of the petals and in the middle, use some Cadmium Red Deep and a bit of Hansa Yellow Deep to do those stamens in the middle of the flower. Now let's do the third layer on our top flower, and this is where we're going to use some more precise, detailed strokes to really highlight those details and the variations of light within each petal. So what you're seeing right now is me doing what I call an interrupted stroke, which is just very thin lines that go from the base of the petal all the way towards the end. And this just helps me create more texture on the petal and make the flower look more realistic, while also adding a little bit of a color boost to the areas that need it just based on my reference photo. This technique is called wet on dry, meaning the background is completely dry and I'm using a wet brush and some color to build more definition. And now let's finish off with the third layer for the flower that's facing us. Lots more detail here, a lot of interrupted stroke, a lot of outlines. We're going to double down on some shadows, really study the reference photo and focus on the grooves within the petals. Just a few more to add the texture and fix up the areas that I screwed up when I was putting down the masking fluid. And do the final layer on my greens. So lots and lots of Hooker's green, much more pigmented than in my first layer. I feel like a little bit of Phthalo Green, which is really vibrant, is going to help me make those petals that are closer to us stand out a little bit more. The more vibrant and saturated and warm the color is, the more it's going to appear closer visually, so that's why I used it there. The shadows, I'm just going to keep it really dark and not so vibrant. Add a bit more texture, some shadows. Do the same thing for the green leaves on the top flower. Some Perylene Violet for the really deep shadows. You can see how nicely it blends with greens, just as well as it did with our reds. It's really, really, really useful color for botanical watercolors and really any other watercolor work. And I think we're done. I have 2 reference photos that I combined into one composition. Feel free to download them using the links below and use it as a reference for your own art. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week.